Good morning, my name is Dave Golder, and I am here to talk about mental health and my experiences of mental health. First and foremost, let's get the introductions out of the way so you know my name. I'm 39 years old. I was born on 28th of February 1980, or not to confuse the American brethren, but that would be February the 28th, just in case they don't know. I was born in North London, in Enfield, in a hospital called Chase Farm. It is still there as far as I'm aware. And I have one sister and three brothers, and we're scattered across the country. In fact, we're actually scattered across the world, but I won't go into too many details about that. My experience of mental health really didn't take off until 2006. Now, I use the superlative for take off not in a way of jolly, in a jolly way. It's that it became at the forefront. It was at the forefront of me. Now, I was in a relationship that at the time I thought had broken down. We had split up. We'd argued. This seemed real. This seemed like the real McCoy of breaking up. And I was working at the time in a pub where I lived at the time, and I didn't want to work there anymore, even though I'd only just started. Well, just below it, just prior to a year. I was doing my alcohol license, and I was in a real state. I would I just wanted to either spend my time drinking in a pub or staying in bed. Didn't want to do anything else. Now, I was never an alcoholic, never became dependent on alcohol. I just abused alcohol for my own social status. And it wasn't pleasant at times. There'd be days now, even now, where someone says, "Oh, can you remember we did this?" Nope. So in 2006, I eventually went to the doctor. Let me just cut in here. These aren't. Sorry, I meant to say these. If you're trying to figure out why I'm looking at the screen and not up at the camera here, there's a reason for that. Is that I want to make sure I know what I'm doing. If I'm looking up here, my peripheral here is actually very blurry. So I'm just looking here. So if you're thinking, well, why does he, why does he look as though he's about to fall asleep? I don't. It'd make it even worse. I'm just about to yawn, or not now. Also, when I look away, it's because I cannot keep constant eye contact, because that actually makes me really nervous, really anxious. And I'll get into that more later. These videos are going to approximately be around 10 minutes long. I say this one is just going to be more of an introduction, and just to highlight, I say these aren't going to be self-help videos. This is going to be, I say, whatever I've told you about my experience. Don't look at that as gospel and say, right, I'm going to do the same, because it may not work for you. There may be other paths that you go down. So going back to it, I went to the doctors and told him everything. Told him about the relationship that had broken down, and I didn't want to go to work, but I needed to. That I didn't want to get out of bed. There'd be days where I wouldn't shower, even going into work. I wouldn't shower, just have a quick damp wash, and just take a bag into work, and probably every hour or so just spray myself with deodorant. Sounds unhygienic, sounds disgusting, and it was. And I apologise to everyone if they were ever offended by that, but yeah, I still do it now. If I go to work, and I have a bag with me, just as a precaution, I always, and even I shower every day now, even on days off like today or the last few weeks, because I've had an infection in my intestines. Even on days off, I will. But I could sit here for a couple of hours and I think, oh, I better have a shower now. But there's always a can of deodorant in my bag. So if I was to stay somewhere, I know for a fact I'll have a can of deodorant, even though I'll pack more. So that's one of those things. So yeah, so go back to the doctors, told him everything, and started going on his computer and typing away. And he then put his hand on my knee and gripped my knee. It's actually quite hard because I rejected the prescription. Before he printed it off, he said, "I will prescribe you an antidepressant." Now, I can't remember which one it was. I say it was 13 years ago, so I cannot remember what it was called, but I know it was an antidepressant because I remember Googling it. And he put his hand on my knee, and he just looked up, and to this day, even now, it's all, it makes me laugh because I think, I don't know whether or not he knew that what he was saying could be construed as sort of quite a bit of an insult. But he just sort of looked down, just looked up at me and just went, "Dave, I can see that you're a sad man." And in my head, I was thinking, well, sad as in that I wear Crocs, or sad that because I am, boo-hoo sad. Now, I will take the mickey out of myself, so don't think that if you're suffering from depression or anxiety and I start making jokes about it, I'm not offending you. It's my coping mechanism, and it's a mechanism that I over time learned to deal with. It offended a lot of people, and I will explain one day, and I've got a few stories to explain how if I'm having a bit of a bad day, I will force myself to get into a social situation, but then I will get rather awkward and start ripping into people. Most people laugh, but there are that odd one or two that sort of go, "Yeah, you bloody idiot," start swearing and things like this. It's going to try and make these videos a swear-free zone, but on occasions I may let one slip, especially if I'm having a bit of a rough moment. So I rejected the prescription, and he let go of my leg, put his hand on my shoulder, and he said, "Okay, how about counselling? The NHS will fund a few counselling sessions for you, but at the time it would be in Bedford, so I'd have to make my own way there, and obviously rely on public transport." And I rejected that too. So 2006, I didn't help myself really. Didn't help myself at all. I just stuck with it. Now, the person I was in a relationship with, she is unlikely to see this video, even though I do have some members of her family on my Facebook, on Instagram. So they may sort of say, "Oh, look, did you know about this?" But just in case she does see it, then obviously I do apologise for not telling you, because I think outside of myself and the doctor, I think I only told 2 people. So I went back to work and just got on with it. 2009, moved to Wales. I left that job under difficult circumstances. Moved to Wales with said girl in a relationship, and so we got back together. And then life took a horrible turn in 2012, where we moved back to her hometown in Bedford, and the relationship broke down around about September 2012. It broke down, sort of almost a full 12 years together was just over like that. And I moved back in with my parents, which was hard because obviously they, in only 3 years, but there were certain ground rules, and I have a few funny stories to tell you, but as I say, that'll be for another time. I didn't really think much of it. I'm struggling to find a job, and it was really, really hard. 2013, I did get a job. I started working at a supermarket as a service crew. So that's basically home shopping, and we stack all of the vans and make sure that the orders go out on time. So yeah, that was quite hard. So as I say, they're going to be around about 10 minutes. We're coming up to 10 minutes now. So I'm going to end it on here. So 2013. So the second video will be 2013 onwards. And as I say, once we've done the history, we talk more about the mental health, then obviously I will start doing more day-to-day videos, as they won't be every day. They'll be maybe once a week or twice a week. Sometimes I can be sometimes I can one day be happy as Larry, don't know who Larry is, or I can be a sad Barry, I don't know who Barry is. And that could be day after day after day. It can swap and change. As I say, we'll go into more details about that. But that's about me and my first experience with mental health. And as I say, we'll go into more details in the next video. That'll almost be a given. But thank you very much for watching.